It is January 2025, so an odd numbered year in January. That means the North Dakota Legislature is back in session, and we're back with All Things Advocacy. Janelle, how's it going?
It's good we're actually standing up because it's been a long week.
We're still standing after
Yes.
week one.
Yes.
So awesome. Hey, so week one of the legislature got off with a bang. We're already busy at the legislature in week one. Tell them a little bit about what we're fighting on this week.
Our priority number one was already heard in House Government and Veterans Affairs yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the insulin cap bill, which is kind of a continuation from last legislative session. We know that state employees have access to a $25 cap on their insulin, and now we're looking at expanding that to every North Dakotan to the private market. So
absolutely. And first episode, and I've already screwed up. So we need to go back and maybe talk a little bit about what our priorities are. So we know prescription drugs and trying to bring down the cost of prescription drugs. We've already been submitted testimony on that this week. What are the other three priorities we're going to be working on this session?
Well, fraud, that's the other one that we hear a lot about. We know consumers are really scammed in different ways every day. And the new one is cryptocurrency kiosks or ATMs. So you're going to see some legislation that could hopefully prevent folks from being scammed using those kiosks. We're also going to hopefully make sure that you can stay in your home as you age. And that is one of our priorities, making sure that you have the services you need, making sure that your house is affordable, making sure that if you need to do some remodel or rehab, housing is such a key issue to so many people. And then the last one is obviously property taxes. That's going to be, hot issue. Still
here. So we're still working on it, even after the ballot measure last session. So this week, anything other than the insulin cap that we were working on this week? Not really.
Just basic stuff, getting things up and running. The governor did his address, but really our focus was making sure that legislators understood that, yes, it was important that state employees have that cap on insulin, but we want to make sure that everybody doesn't have to, cut their insulin or not fill their prescription or, and they have more money in their pocket when they go to the pharmacy. They can keep that. So it's really a life-saving drug. And this is a huge step in the right direction.
It was great testimony. That bill is House Bill 1114. More on that in just a second. So let's take a peek into next week. It's surprising that it's already going to be week two next week. What's on the docket next week that we're going to be tracking closely or working on?
Property taxes, right? I'm sure you all have, used to us talking about it. After the election, we said that this is a continued conversation that we want to have. We're right in the middle of it. Why it's important to us is the homestead property tax credit, as well as that primary residence tax credit. The governor has put out his recommendations. There's a 32-page bill out there.
34. I just read it again.
Okay, well, there's 2 pages I must have missed this morning. But what we know is, folks want to stay in their homes, stay in their communities. How can we make property taxes more affordable so that folks can stay there and have the services they need that property taxes pay for?
Absolutely. So that's House Bill 1176, and I think that hearing is Tuesday morning, if I remember correctly. So expect to hear more on that next week. So a little bit shorter All Things Advocacy update this week because there wasn't a lot going on. The legislature just got rolling, but we still have things we want folks to do. And what's the first one we want them to do?
First thing is your deadline is tomorrow to register for Advocacy Day. Join us at the Capitol on January 20th. We're super excited. We'll really kind of pull the curtain, away so you can see what the legislature looks like. You can meet with legislators, talk with them about issues that are important to you, but go and register for Advocacy Day and join us there on the 20th.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to some legislators yesterday and they're really excited. And so if you haven't had a chance to register, we do have a deadline that closes tomorrow. So that's January 11th. If you're watching this not on the 10th or the 11th, the deadline to register closes on the 11th because we have to order food. We've got to make arrangements and those things. So please get registered. We'd love to see you January 19th and 20th here in Bismarck. And if you're coming from the east, there is a bus. You still have room on the bus, not much, but some room on the bus. So I encourage you to do that. In addition to signing up for Advocacy Day, we have one other ask this week, which is?
So House Bill 1114, that's the insulin cap bill. It's important that we start the conversations now. Even if your legislator's not on the House Government and Veterans Affairs Committee, it will be heard on the House floor at some point in time. So talk to your legislator. Tell them that insulin is such an important drug that this is a step forward and really to support House Bill 1114.
Absolutely. So again, that's House Bill 1114. I know Marty's getting it up on the screen right now. You can either visit aarp.org/ND or ND Advocacy, either one will get you to the link to do that. Or if you want to email your legislator directly, you can do that at House Bill 1114. So Week 1 is in the books for the North Dakota Legislature. Week 2 is going to be off with a bang again, talking about property tax. We'll have probably some sort of update from Governor Armstrong. Gives his actual budget address next week. So we're expecting to hear things about housing in addition to home and community-based services funding, some of those things next week as well. So with that, this has been another All Things Advocacy with ARP North Dakota.